What if I told you HPV vaccination was for men too?
I didn't know.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it out. Tonight, we're gonna let it out. Tonight, we're gonna let it out. Just like the sunrise, we're gonna let it out. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it out. Tonight, we're gonna let it out. Tonight, we're gonna let it out. Just like the sunrise, we're gonna let it out.
The thought of you keeps me up. Memories that are lingering in my head. The wind whispers your name, making it hard to ever forget. I try to run, but you're everywhere. It's like your shadow won't disappear. Got nowhere to hide. You control the night, and I am done being your prisoner. If only I could find a way to let you be gone, I would, but you're still hanging on. I'm haunted by your spirit as I try to move on and on, as I'm stuck with a ghost of you. break free from the curse that you have had put on me. I wish there was a way to tell you that now's the time to leave. I tried to run, but you're everywhere. It's like your shadow won't disappear. Got nowhere to hide. You control the night, and I am done being your prisoner. If only I could find a way to let you be gone, be gone. I would, but you're still hanging on. I'm haunted by your spirit as I try to move on and on, as I'm stuck with a ghost of you. Stuck with a ghost of you.
Hello, post-university esports fans. Warren JuggleGod Hammond here tonight. Very excited to be back here for post-university for Overwatch 2 tonight. Going to be taking on Trent, who is currently sitting in fourth place with a 3-2 record. And I'm excited for this match because I think yeah, post-university I think is coming into this as the favorites here, but anytime you're looking, I think, at like the top five in any league, you need to still be on your A game. Post University still needs to be playing just as well as we've seen them play all season long. Now, we are going to be starting things off on Samoa, which, if I remember correctly, was the first map that we saw last week as well. When Post University was taking on Dalhousie, so a very flat map, right? I think that's one of the probably the biggest thing to start a discussion about, right? Is the fact that this map is going to be much more. Much better for a brawl kind of composition, maybe even a poke composition. Dive going to be a little bit difficult here. Now we do have the bans in, and the Trent banned May, which Moridin was very upset about in chat, for good reason, because Moridin is a fantastic May. Um, looks like okay, looks like we had some small technical issues, but we are back now in loading into the map. But yeah, so I think it's going to be interesting to see who Moridin goes to without the May pick, right? Because their May has just been absolutely stellar this entire season, right? The May walls, the ice blocks, everything has just been firing on all cylinders for them. So, curious to see what they're going to come out on. In addition, Post University decided to ban Mauga, who I think is a good pick for them to ban as well. That was definitely somebody that they had trouble with um, uh, last week, right? I think just that intense amount of damage coming in was making it a little more difficult for Post University to do what they wanted to do what they needed to do. So, gonna go ahead and head into game. And we can see Moridin actually starting out on the sim. Post University honestly has been a huge fan of the Symmetra for just about as long as I can remember. And no exception here tonight. So MultiKel starting out on the Ramatra. It is going to be Post University getting to point first. And we can see Post University taking some nice positioning here, not really pushing forward at the moment, putting that impetus on Trent University. Scrammy comes in, but it's taking a lot of damage. Forced to use just about all of their defensive abilities, as Just takes a little bit of damage as well. Post University, though, MultiKel going down relatively low. Also, should shout out KingJackson, one of the subs in tonight. MultiKel going very low, though. It's going to be a trade. Ooh, and Post University going to fall first in this first fight. Oh, Jojo still keeping things alive, but not for long. That was a nice little stall there for Post University. So now let's chat a little bit about what these ultimates are looking like. Chewy at the moment is just about lapping the entire lobby with their ultimate, so that could be pretty powerful moving forward, especially if you need to try and get like the tank out of the way or something. So in fact, we're going to go ahead and take a peek at what they're doing. They're taking kind of an off angle right now, and again, yeah, look at that, right at the tank. That ultimate is online right now. MultiKel is able to take out one, so opportunity here for Post University to capitalize on this. Are they going to go ahead and use the ultimate? They do. They pop it. It's going to be just Lemonade taking a lot of damage. Most of Trent has been pushed off of point at this point. I don't think they're going to try and contest, which is definitely the way to go. Nice turret set up on the left side there. Get a little bit of ult charge. MultiKel has their ultimate as well now, but looking at Sleepy for Trent, I think that's going to be the person that they need to focus on. Of course, that ultimate popped just about immediately. Sponge comes in with a 2K for Trent University, so it's going to be Post making their way back to spawn once again. That was 3 ultimates used by Trent, though, to get that point back. So Bob is going to be online here, which definitely could be a problem for Post University. I'm going to be looking at MultiKel and KingJackson here to try and combine their ultimates to just push onto point and overwhelm them with damage. Oh, here we go. Big TP onto point. Moridin trying to put in that damage. MultiKel still waiting patiently for the opportune moment for their ultimate. Everybody going down low, though. Chewy onto the Genji at this point. All right, there we go. That's going to be a big one for Post University to push in on. But Chewy is taken out almost immediately. It is going to be a one-for-one trade now. Bob comes in, pops Chewy up into the air, but MultiKel now trying to make something happen here in the back line. Has gone straight past the wrist of the opposing team. Holding on to their ultimate at the moment, waiting. We are at 90% though, so they're going to have to use it soon. KingJackson on the way back. There's the sound barrier. Post University has an opportunity, but Jojo again is down, so KingJackson going low again. MultiKel putting up that shield. Looks like MultiKel actually might have DC'd there. Hopefully that is not the case. Post University trying to stay alive on point. Chewy doing everything they can, but first point will go to Trent. I'm catching up on chat now, so hi Slap, good to see you. Happy Halloween as well. Play Tor, I'm here obsessed. Yeah, we do love Sim. We absolutely love Sim here at Post University. So what are the lessons Post can learn from this last fight? Number one, I think they need to watch out for Sponge. Sponge had a phenomenal round, I believe. We do have a pause at the moment, so we're going to throw it back out to the caster screen for a minute while we see what's going on there. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, the looks like getting things sorted out at the moment, but yeah. MultiKel has to leave and is going to rejoin here in just a moment. But um, I think taking out Sponge is going to be a huge deal for Post University coming up, and the part of that equation might be Moridin, right? If Moridin can kind of get in and out, get that beam charged up, right, and then just nuke Sponge, that could be certainly be a way in. The other thing I'm worried about, honestly, for Post University is just Lemonade. Just Lemonade, both of the DPS, I think, for Trent have shown up in kind of a big way on this first map. That Bob was, I think, positioned and timed just about perfectly. I think I'd like to see a little bit maybe more decisiveness from Post University. It looked like they were a little bit behind. Like it appeared to me that Trent had tempo that entire first round, right? They were the ones kind of controlling the pace of things. They were the ones coming in, popping their ultimates first, making the big moves, making the big plays right off the bat. So I want to see Post University be a little more aggressive, a little more definitive, and a little faster with enacting whatever their plan is going to be. Both teams playing great right now, and certainly I think Trent is looking fantastic. Certainly not a team that has gone 3-2. I wouldn't say. I feel like they're definitely playing above that at the moment. Let's talk about Sleepy as well for Trent University, because Sleepy has been on the Mercy. So I think that Valk in the third fight, if I remember correctly, on that last map was pretty pivotal as well, right? Getting that Valk out early, helping everybody kind of push 2 point with that Valk and kind of take that space, especially for Scrammy, right? Scrammy being able to come in and just kind of stake their claim to the point was really, really big. So I think finding a solution for Sleepy is going to be a big priority as well. And that's going to be difficult, I think, because at the moment, I feel like Jojo is maybe the best person to try and take out this Mercy, right? Chewy not necessarily going to be able to, or Moridin on the Symmetra or the Reaper, unless they just the Reaper might be able to TP to a good spot, but I just feel like somebody with a little a little bit more mobility, a little bit more damage is gonna be better. And for that, I think Jojo on the Kiriko might make the most sense there. But we are back in game, so let's see here. MultiKel has rejoined.
4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
Ooh, and both teams actually opting for the sim this time. Moridin going to be leading the way for Post University. Just Lemonade taking a little bit of damage. Car wash getting set up. Post University, actually, this is much more aggressive. This is kind of what I wanted to see. In fact, Scrammy having to back off having used all of their defensive abilities at this point. So, big pick there coming out from Chewy. They're going to back out as Moridin finishes things off. There is one player on point from Trent, but Post University is going to be able to take this first fight. So, it looks like Post University figured some things out there. That was definitely a lot more definitive. That was a lot more aggressive. It was very quick, right? They pushed their advantage, and they never let go of it. So, Chewy gets stunned there, but is able to back out. MultiKel taking a lot of damage, forced to back out just a little bit. Big res coming out from Sleepy as well. That's going to cause some problems for Post University. As we can see, they are backing out now. Back to point. But honestly, they're not giving much space, which is fantastic. Moridin does go down. A nice flank there from Sponge to make that happen. MultiKel probably going to just try and hang on to this as long as they possibly can. Chewy on point as well. Trying to throw in as much damage as they can. MultiKel is going to eventually fall. Or not! MultiKel is still alive! Eventually sent back to spawn. But what a fantastic hold from Post University. They pulled every percentage point they possibly could out of that fight. Moridin is going to stick with the sim, which a lot of times you see teams swap off of that. Definitely going to be watching for this Death Blossom from Chewy. I think this could be a very this could be a game changer right here, especially considering Sponge doesn't have it on. Big Kitsune Rush. Probably going to see it come after this, but no! Jojo's able to take out Scrammy. And that just means that Chewy's going to get to hold on to this Death Blossom. MultiKel does use their ultimate, which might have been nice for next fight, but the big thing is there's still 2 on the board for Post University. KingJackson, the sub, the rookie, just about to have that sound barrier here. So Post University's looking pretty good in this fight. They're going to have to watch out for that Death Blossom, and I'm definitely going to be looking to KingJackson to be the one who kind of takes care of that, make sure that no damage comes Post University's way when it does come out. Post University pushing up pretty aggressively, which is good too. 80% on the board, so Trent has to win this fight. Otherwise, this round is going to be over. Moridin has to back out. There's the Suzu. That's going to be an opportunity now for Trent to move in, but they're not doing it. There's Sponge. Doesn't go in for the Death Blossom. KingJackson doing a good job, still holding on to it. Chewy's got a couple of kills. KingJackson now bouncing everywhere as Scrammy tried to make a play for it on the point, but was not able to. So, looking at a 1-to-1 map differential now between these two teams on map number 1. So I'm going to turn down my mic just a little bit, everybody. I feel like I might be a little bit too loud. Let me know if the mix is good or if there are any adjustments needed, but I think that's going to be a little bit nicer for everybody. So, we get to see all 3 maps. Got the big volcano here. So this is going to be a lot of fun for KingJackson again, bringing up the sub. You know, anytime you can drop somebody in that lava, that's going to be a good time for everybody. It is going to be Post University getting the point first, most likely again, as Moridin is on the sim. Going to swap off, though. Oh, no, they're not. Looked like they backed up for it, but I was mistaken. UV opting for the Moira this time, thinking maybe a little bit more healing could make the difference here. But Post University is just fantastic about getting on the point first. And now Scrammy's going to go head to head, but with MultiKel. Big pick though. That's going to be a 1-for-1 actually. So now Post University definitely going to have to turtle up here because Just Lemonade is going to be back before Chewy is going to be. Moridin trying to hold down a flank, almost goes down, but a great job by the healers keeping them up. And now Post University recognizes that Trent overextended just a little bit. They're going to try and chase down these kills. 20% on the board for Post. That Coalescence is just about online for UV. So I'm going to be looking for Trent to try and play this slow to build up that ultimate and then push in once it's there. MultiKel, I would imagine, probably going to use theirs right off the back of that too. So looking for this 1-2 punch to happen here. Chewy actually flanking at the moment as well. Gets spotted. Scrammy pushes them out. There comes the Coalescence. Everybody backs off. And in fact, yeah, MultiKel, they're all going to just wrap around the point. But KingJackson goes down. That's going to be a big pick. It's going to be a 2-for-1 as Post University comes back, finds a pair. The Kitsune Rush from Jojo, the difference maker in that fight. Post University looks like they have been adjusting every single fight. Trent University did a great job coming in, getting that first fight win, or getting that first sub-map win, rather, but Post University really seems to have kind of figured out what they need to do in the face of this. Sleepy's going to have this Kitsune Rush here. Yeah, Scrammy going to start things off. There comes the Kitsune Rush. MultiKel backing up. There comes the Suzu to try and keep them alive. Big sound barrier now. Chewy with the Death Blossom finds 3. Make it 4. MultiKel stealing that last kill, but that is going to be Post University taking map 1. This was a big Death Blossom from Sponge. Definitely one of the more pivotal plays in this first fight. Especially right on the tail of that ultimate getting used by Post University, by Jojo. So, excited to see what map number 2 is going to be. Let's take a moment, though, and talk about what we could see, right? Because the first map type is always going to be control, but we could go to hybrid / flashpoint, push, or escort at this point. So, the choice will be, I believe, on Trent University. Just gonna wait and see what they decide to choose. Now, if you're Trent here, I think you're asking yourself a couple questions, right? You're saying like, okay, do we need to look at perhaps a different composition, right? Do we need to go maybe to a dive? Do we need to try something that's a little more poke, especially because they've got Just Lemonade, right? Just Lemonade has, I think, been very good so far on the Ash. So something that plays to those strengths a little bit more could be an option here. Post University, I think they just keep doing what they're doing. I'm going to be curious to see if May gets banned again. Actually, that's maybe one of my first questions is, will May get banned for this second map? I think the Maga ban was a good choice by Post University as well. I think that certainly could have been something something to watch out for, right? But they didn't have to deal with that. Now, let's see here. Post University got another sub in the lobby now as well, where you've got Speedy Rogue, and so I'm going to be excited to see if they if they join the game or not. But yeah, Post University so far looking really good. I talked about the adjustments, right? And I think it was pretty apparent, right? That first sub map went the way of Trent University. The second one, it was almost reversed, right? Like Trent University got some progress on that map, where Post University took it all, and then for the final one, Post just took that sub map and held it the entire time. So maybe there was a little inconsistency just with comms or something like that. I haven't seen KingJackson in the mix yet, so Vero is out tonight, so maybe just getting KingJackson in the mix and remembering, okay, how does this player slot in? Perhaps that was part of the adjustment right there. Not saying you're doing a bad job, KingJackson, just that sometimes there is that adjustment because everybody's got a slightly different play style. But KingJackson certainly came in very clutch during the during that third map. Right, there was a big sound barrier right when Scrammy used their ultimate and tried to push onto point. That did great work for Post University. So Rialto is going to be the choice here. So I do think this speaks to more of a poke composition, right? Trent is looking for a way for just Lemonade to try and pop off a little bit more. So I'm anticipating they're gonna be right up top. And oh, this is interesting. They decided to ban Symmetra. So they didn't like Post University getting to the point basically first every single time, right? It's not going to be, I don't think, quite as big of an issue in this map, right? Because you're not looking to control just this one space, so it isn't necessarily like, okay, who gets to the point first being important, right? It's an asymmetrical map, right? So I don't think the sim ban is going to be that bad for Post University, and in addition, getting the May in there could be a pretty big boon because it's entirely possible to use that May wall to get up to some of that high ground because Rialto does have high ground, but it's not crazy high ground, right? You can get up to a lot of this high ground simply by standing on top of a May wall. So I'm going to be looking for Moridin to do something along those lines as we move into this map. Hazard is going to be banned here for Post University, and I think that's another intelligent pick, right? Because there is some of this verticality on Rialto, so getting rid of a tank that can kind of jump from one level to the other is a pretty nice thing, and especially a tank that I feel like plays a little bit more brawly than necessarily dive, even though there is that verticality to Hazard. Is a solid move here. So I'm guessing we're probably going to see Scrammy back on the Orisa. I think the Orisa was a solid choice, maybe back on the Ram as well. Um, but I think it's a little more likely we're going to see the Orisa here. So gonna be very curious to see how this goes. We're gonna be heading into game momentarily. Looks like the same sides. Same sides. Post University gonna be in red again. And let's talk a little bit now about the support backline, right? I think KingJackson staying on the Lucio is a fantastic idea. I think the Lucio is a really strong pick last time. Lucio is nobody ever complains. Honestly, I don't think if you pick Lucio, sound barrier is just sound barrier, and it's universally useful. So as we are loaded in. Well, we're waiting on the players to spawn. Let's just talk a little bit about perhaps this first point, right? So right around here is, I imagine, where we're gonna see Just Lemonade setting up, right when they're on defense. And again, this wall, I believe, or rather this high ground, I believe, is short enough for you to be able to May wall up to. So again, if we do see Just Lemonade setting up there, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see something like that, given that we're not going to have a Symmetra. And yeah, Sponge has already gone over to the Hanzo, so this is definitely the direction that Trent is thinking at the moment, right? They want Poke. Scrammy is on the Sigma as well. Sleepy on the Anna. This is gonna be a composition that plays very far away. Suppose University is really gonna have to be cautious and careful about their rotations, right? The rotations are where you get hurt when you're going up against um uh a poke composition, right? So how are they going to make that happen? Oh, Speedy Rogue is in. By the way, Speedy Rogue is in for MultiKel. This is exciting. I'm very, very excited to see what Speedy Rogue is going to bring to the table. No, no, wait, no. looks like it's just internet issues. I'm not going to say anything more about who is in the match for the next couple of minutes because I think it was just a DC there. So it looks like MultiKel is coming back in. But again, we're looking at this poke composition, right? And Chewy at the moment is also. I think the Venture is a good pick here, right? Because you could be hidden as you make your rotations, as you approach something, right? So I think that's a pretty solid option as well. I think we're going to see MultiKel back on the Ramatra because once Post University can close the distance, that Ramatra is just going to wreak havoc on Trent University, right? Scrammy's going to have a tough time if they don't have their rock, for instance, to try and knock down Multi on the Ram. So taking a look now at Post University's backline too. Jojo and KingJackson, right, being on the Kiri and the Lucio, that's going to make it easier for Post University to kind of close the gap as well. We are back in game. Oops. Got to do a hide chat. There we go. But yeah, you can see that everybody is set up here for Trent University. I would maybe like to see them spread out a little bit more because if you're playing kind of like a death ball like Post University is, that's going to be a pretty appetizing group of people to try and run down. MultiKel on the Maga, though. This might be the first time I've seen the multi-Maga. So very curious as to what that's going to look like. Nice wall there from Moridin. Really curious to see what Jojo does here. If they're going to play a little more aggro, if they're going to play more Healy. Ooh, they're taking a lot of damage here. A great, yeah, honestly, huge, really good job by Trent University kind of seeing what they need to do. But Post University strikes back. They get two. MultiKel does go down, so it looks like it's 2v2 at this point. Can Scrammy stay alive? It's Moridin and Chewy. Dynamic DPS duo throwing in as much damage as they can. KingJackson is already back as well. It's now a 4v3. Post University, despite this being a very back and forth fight, has the card right at the end of this point. So now, Trent University a little bit ahead at the moment, but MultiKel does take out Sponge. Nice flank there. MultiKel gets left, goes down very low. Jojo does a good job getting them healed. Big ultimate coming out, though, from Scrammy, recognizing that the Suzu was gone. So they're going to be able to get a lot of that damage in. But speaking of damage, Maga trying to do a ton of it, but instead it's going to be just Lemonade who comes out with the kill. KingJackson calls as well. And now at this point, Post University, I think, just trying to back out, die on point, reset, because they're not going to be winning this fight here. We get the Murder Moth with UV coming after everybody as well. With that Valk. Ooh, and Just Lemonade takes out Moridin too. Post University really needs to reset here, right? We need to see them kind of slow things down. Play a little safer. Big Kitsune Rush coming out from Jojo. Post University pushing in pretty hard, but it's going to be Jojo taken out again. Chewy trying to throw some damage into Just Lemonade, but Post University having a hard time closing the gap. MultiKel tries it right there, but goes down as well. Beautiful anti-nade from Sleepy. Bob coming in too. Post University has been stalled, has been stuck right here, and oh, Moridin loses the Blizzard at the last moment there. And now we're looking at two ultimates here for Post University. That's a big stagger too, but they did take Sleepy out as well. So the spawn is going to be a little bit quicker for Post University, but I don't know if it's really going to matter that much because Post went down first there, or second rather. All right, Moridin trying to out-snipe just Lemonade right now. Big wall that's going to allow Post University to move in closer. MultiKel just about has their ultimate ready to go. There's the Suzu. Yep, and another big sound barrier coming out from KingJackson. MultiKel drives in with their ultimate as well. Scrammy not having a good time. UV tries to keep things alive for Trent, but Post University will get the point.
Team kill.
Yeah, good call there, just Lemonade. Go visit the river and get back to spawn. So Sponge, by the way, swapped over to the Genji. Which I think is a great call because they're going to be able to kind of contest the high ground a little bit more here. Sponge was on the cast, but then opted to go back. I am a little confused by that. I feel like the cast was a really good choice there, especially considering Chewy is on the Genji. Nobody has any ultimates to speak of, though, coming into this fight here. The high ground, though, causing some problems for Post University. Scrammy does drop now, and so Chewy kind of got free reign here in the back line. We're going to see if they can take out UV, but it's not going to happen. Ooh, now everybody's kind of backing up. MultiKel asleep at the moment. Chewy distracts for a moment, and that allows the front line to get a little bit of positioning here. Big wall coming out. Scrammy looking like they're going down. Chewy in the back line with the blade. Finds two. Are they going to make it three? They certainly are. Post University opens this point up as well, and they're going to be able to capture. One thing that Post University is doing really, really well here is they are keeping this payload moving. They are not allowing Trent to stop the payload even while the fights are going on, right? That was almost one big fight there for that last point. Nice flank here from Chewy, but they might have bit off more than they can chew. Suzu comes out to save them. Speaking of the carry, I would imagine we're going to see, big sound barrier again from KingJackson. He has been on it. Jojo comes in with a Kitsune Rush, and now Chewy, looking at that backline again, has found one with the help of Jojo. It's going to be a one-for-one trade, but it's when your support line goes down, that's going to cause more problems, I think, than anything else. And so currently, Post University doing a fantastic job of dissecting this squad. Ooh, can Chewy find them? Are they going to be able to get the stagger? Not quite. 2 minutes to go here. Post University just has one more fight to win. And Moridin has the Blizzard. Oh, but they have to go into their ice block. Just Lemonade has their mark. Just Lemonade certainly focusing on them, trying to keep them at bay as hard as they can. Suzu again to keep the team alive. Big Blizzard way to the back line. Moridin finds Scrammy. That's going to be another one. Everybody's in an ice block who can get into one. MultiKel finds their ultimate too. And that will be a minute 41 on the clock for Post University. That is a fantastic time on Rialto. There are a lot of times that you don't see this map finished by either team. So finishing with any time, much less over a minute and a half, huge. Post University is a great situation here.
Initiating match.
So what will the Post University defense look like? Are we going to see changes? Are we going to see any swaps? I feel like Moridin's going to stick with the May. I feel like that's kind of a foregone conclusion. I think we're going to see kind of the same backline as well. Jojo and KingJackson sticking with the Kiri Lucio. My big question is, what's Chewy going to choose and what's MultiKel going to choose here? Because the Sig might not be a bad option here for MultiKel. But no, sticking with the Maga and Chewy's. Okay, so you know what? We saw that we had success with this. We're going to stick with that. So with this kind of a composition, I'm anticipating MultiKel to be contesting cart primarily, right? For most of this map, right? It's interesting seeing Scrammy go over to the DM. I wonder how long that's going to stay because certainly the defense matrix is great for negating all of the damage that will be coming in from Maga, right? But I'm just not sure that Scrammy's going to have the staying power on point that they're going to need in order to kind of move this card forward. And we'd see, yeah, already using that defense matrix. So, you know, part of it is as well, right? MultiKel is able to get that defense matrix out with a lot of that damage going in. Moridin goes down low. Big deflect coming in from Chewy to allow Moridin to get into that ice block. Just Lemonade says, you got guns, I got guns too. So much damage going back and forth here between each team. MultiKel goes in big, and it pays off. A huge opportunity there because the rest of Post University was with him, was behind them. And with the big guns being sent back to spawn, that's going to be Post University successfully stalling this out. Ooh, KingJackson actually going over to the Ana. This is exciting to see. Of course, nade, sleep dart, things like that can be eaten quite easily by scramming on that D.Va. So KingJackson's really going to have to monitor kind of that defense matrix. Good positioning right here, but I feel like they need to be aware of the flank too behind them. Oh, and Eden, Scrammy, huge play on the D.Va right there. Completely negates that Blizzard, but 2.5 minutes on the clock, and Post University still holding strong here. I'm anticipating a couple of big ultimates coming out here. UV probably with that Coalescence to start things. Yep, there it comes. Self-destruct out as well, but I didn't see the mech go anywhere. Oh no, that wasn't. That was Orbital Ray, rather, from Sleepy. Oh, big self-destruct coming in. It's gonna be a 1-for-1 trade here. Oh no, make it a 2-for-1 as Post University having a little tough time staying up. But Moridin knows the assignment. Stays on the point until the last moment possible. And look at that. That allows MultiKel to get back with the Mauga. Chewy has this blade as well, and there's no ultimates that can be used to go up against it. Big thing they're going to have to watch out for, honestly, is UV. Big Kitsune Rush coming in. Anticipate we're going to see that that blade soon. There it comes. Takes out the biggest threat first. Finds the second one, and Post University gets the hold that they need. Post University needs to win one fight, maybe 1.5 here. Kind of depending on how quickly these go. Post University wants to make them take a long time. And the wild thing is, kind of Trent does as well, because they have no ultimates on the board, right? They want to try and win this, or at least build these ultimates as quick as they can. Chewy looking at that flank. Mauga going to have to contest here in just a second. Chewy doing that, though, at the moment for Post University. With that deflect, here comes MultiKel on the Mauga. Does find just Lemonade. So now 30 seconds left to go. Moridin still holding on to that Blizzard. This is exactly what we want to see them doing. Yeah, and Trent just cannot get any footing on the point here. Moridin had that Blizzard has to be burning a hole in their pocket right now. They're watching that defense matrix. Big defense matrix coming out from MultiKel. Huge ante as well from King. Two absolutely massive. This is going to be the opportunity for it. There comes the Blizzard. This is what they need. Can they make it happen? Everybody's frozen, but they will get the point. So this is an opportunity, I think, for Post University to make swaps if they want to, right? Because this kind of high ground hold is it's the biggest high ground hold in this map, right? And so if you're going to swap compositions, I feel like you're going to be doing it here. But they've elected to stick with what they've got because they do still have that verticality that they can work with, right? And I'm watching, let's see, I believe that is Sponge, actually, yeah. On that, on the Ashe this time around. Ooh, making quick work of Post University this time around, so yeah, we can see MultiKel trying to back out here. Hold as much space as they can, not give them everything for free. Scrammy does go down, though, so that is an opportunity for Post to come in here. Just Lemonade going to use their ultimate as well to see if they can try and stymie some of the bleeding. Almost had the kill there, MultiKel, but it wasn't quite enough damage to do it. Big run in there, finds just Lemonade, and perfect timing as well because Trent University just got reinforcements. So now Post University has them at a 4v5 again. MultiKel's ultimate's almost online, as is Blade. We see Chewy biding their time, waiting for the moment. Here comes a Coalescence as well. That's going to be problematic. Blizzard comes in from Moridin. That might be all that they need to make this happen. I don't think we're going to see the, big plays coming out from Chewy. Post University will get the hold here, or should at least, as long as they get these last few staggers. One fight remaining. This is where it happened last time for Trent, so can Post hold on. They've got 3 ultimates. Crucially, they've got Nano Blade. So KingJackson certainly, yeah, look at that. the duo you would expect right here. Chewy is ready, KingJackson is ready. They're just waiting for the moment. They're waiting for that opening. They're waiting for that opportunity. Chewy, there it comes. Ooh, having a hard time finding anybody. Bob actually does a great job forcing everybody out, but MultiKel does find 1 kill. Are they going to be able to get another one? Big rush coming in from Jojo now. Going to try and keep everybody alive, deal that damage too. Post University starting to make a big difference. Huge wall there from Moridin to keep anybody off the point coming in from that flank, which gives an opportunity for them to get Scrammy out of the mech. Another Blizzard for Moridin. Feel like they just had it, and Post is going to go up 2-0. Oh, this is an interesting play again. It's going to be Sponge. I believe that's their second play. I think they got the first one as well on that first map. Yeah, posting really close here to capturing that point, but it just wasn't in the cards that time around. So this is the do or die moment here for Trent University. They have one more opportunity to try and keep this series alive. It's great getting to know KingJackson, by the way, as well. Just want to shout them out again. Seeing the Anna, seeing Lucio. Love. I'm excited to see what else they have kind of in their pocket. So map pick. Let's talk about that. So now we're down to either hybrid or push. And with push, there's only 2 options currently in NECC, and that's going to be Esperanza and New Queen Street. So I don't know that we're going to see push. I think we're probably going to hybrid or Flashpoint here. Eigenwall, Kings Row, and Hollywood are the 3 choices for hybrid, and I would not be surprised. I'm never going to be surprised to see Kings Row. Never, ever. Never going to be surprised. So certainly I think that's a strong possibility of what we're going to see here. Especially considering I think Trent did find some success with that poke composition, and you can continue to do that with Kings Row, right? There's more high ground. The high ground is higher as well. So I think that could definitely play to their strengths and force Post University to go to a more mobile composition. But honestly, didn't look like they really had a problem with it, right? Chewy on the Genji was fantastic, was absolutely stellar that last map. So Trent's got a tough job ahead of him here. Eigenwald or Hollywood? I'm trying to decide which one of those might be better for Trent. Honestly, I think it may be Hollywood, and the only reason I can think of is it's one of the few maps in Overwatch where you can't get tossed off the map, right? There's no bottomless pit of doom anywhere. So, that hasn't been an issue yet, but it certainly could be with KingJackson out there on the Lucio. I think if they do decide to go to push, I think the choice is probably going to be Esperanza. right? Because, or actually, no, I imagine, you know what? They might go new Queen Street. New Queen Street might be the choice here because there is a lot of long sidelines. There is great high ground. Um, and if Post University's solution to the poke composition is a Mauga based composition, then making the high ground higher, more difficult to get to, and more oppressive, I think is a really good thought, right? Now, from Post University side, of course, they do have dive compositions, which would work great on New Queen Street as well. So getting MultiKel back onto the Winston could be a great look for them there. And in addition, I feel like Trent is kind of in a difficult spot because do they ban May? Do they ban Sim? Right? It's a tough choice. But King's Row is where we are headed, and they're gonna ban Genji this time. So they do not like the post DPS. They want to shut down post DPS, and that is proving quite difficult for them. Um, so yeah, post university now with a ban. Or now with a ban. Uh, Honestly, I would banning Ash might not be a bad idea. Like that has definitely been a go-to for Trent squad. I believe we've seen both Sponge and Lemonade on the Ash, and certainly the Bob has been pretty pivotal in a couple of fights. Actually, now that I think about it, several of the fights that Trent has won has been off the back of Bob's. We saw that initially when we were in Samoan. We saw it too when Trent got the first point on attack as well. Bob was a piece of that puzzle too. So wouldn't be surprised. Oh, they're gonna ban Diva. Post is gonna ban Diva. That makes sense too, right? Moridin, I'm sure, was not happy about getting their Blizzard eaten in that last map. So a solid choice. I think for them as well. So should be headed into the map relatively soon. But this has been a great start for Post University. I think, going up two maps right off the bat is fantastic. Oh, and as well, I forgot to mention this stat line too. But Post University currently 3-1 in ECAC as well. So right now they're sitting at an 8-1 record across two um, uh, two different tournaments essentially. So congratulations to them in ECAC as well, and got my fingers crossed that they continue to find success in that one as well. Um, we're gonna throw it to a quick break. Trent wants to take a couple of minutes, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. Hello, everybody.
Now
We are
entering
loading into King's Row. Want to be a match of Overwatch?
Initiating
We didn't see
match.
King's Row. So again, this high ground, I think, is what is going to make or break this game for either team. Either Trent is going to be oppressive with this high ground off of the back of just Lemonade and Sponge,
Ready
or
for battle.
Post University is going to find the answer to them. Right now, that answer might be Chewy. But of course, things can change as Post University is in the attacker spawn. Scrammy opting for the Zarya. So that's going to be interesting. That's going to mean that Trent is going to be looking to play their corners a lot tighter than maybe they would behind some other tanks, right? Because that bubble is a very temporary barrier,
One.
right?
Attackers incoming. Defend
And as well, Chewy, the bubble might not matter if Chewy's hitting their shots, right? Oh, but it looks like, oh, I thought Chewy might be swapping, but no, they're going to stick with the Widow. To find a head, but Moridin already found one, though. So Post University already on the point, already building up progress here. Trent doing exactly what they need to do, which is take it slow, give them 2 ticks, probably going to start to push in here, especially because it looks like Just Lemonade is back. But no, instead, Trent is going to do what I think is a very smart thing, and they're going to try and get this hold here at Arches. Chewy looking for another angle. Definitely trying to track where Just Lemonade is. Huge headshot from him. Beautiful flick coming out from Chewy. Love to see it. So that's going to allow MultiKel to be able to move forward with a lot more freedom. Moridin finds a second one. So Scrammy doing everything they can to build up some of that charge, but Post University just not giving it to them. Now Post is going to be halfway through streets already, and look at this. Ooh, Mercy might get caught out, but they're able to Valk back, or not Valk, but fly back to safety. It's interesting having Sponge on the Soldier 76. That is going to provide some sustain for them, so they're going to be able to play their angles a little bit, with a little bit more impunity, right? Because they're going to have that extra health that they can use. Sleepy continues to find themselves in kind of an awkward position. Now Scrammy pushing somebody flanking for Post University. MultiKel takes quite a bit of damage. Moridin has the Blizzard ready to go, but is in a nice block at the moment. Chewy looking for a head, doesn't find it. Takes a couple shots, moves away, which is a smart move. They hear somebody behind them, but in the meantime, MultiKel finds one in the front line as Scrammy goes down. Soldier 76, yeah, trying to stay on point as much as they can, but Chewy says no, not this time. And Post University, absolutely blisteringly fast time through the first 2 points. Streets is just gone. And Post University is not slowing down as well. They're getting these staggers, they're pushing aggressively. They're not charging Scrammy, which is absolutely huge. Jojo doing a good job keeping tabs on Chewy. Scrammy coming up with this grab here. This could be big for them. Yeah, there it is. King in it. Beautiful wall from Moridin. Moridin is one of my favorite May players. Moridin is absolutely incredible on that hero. Understands every facet of May's kit. Here comes that Bob, which has been a problem for Post University. Yeah, they've got their sights set on Jojo. They're going to go down almost immediately. So Trent University going to have an opportunity here to breathe off the back of a great play from Just Lemonade. But this ult bank coming out for Post is absolutely disgusting. And Chewy has opted for the Bastion. This is an interesting choice because that's going to just absolutely destroy any bubbles that Scrammy has. And, you know, you can charge the bubble if you just if you just destroy it and then kill whoever is behind it. MultiKel taking a lot of damage, though. It's going to be a 2-for-1 trade as Moridin and Chewy find one. MultiKel's going to go down, but Chewy is still alive, still doing damage. And the DPS duo plus KingJackson going to roll it in to point. 4 minutes and 1 second on the clock for Post University. That is a devastating time.
Switching sides. Initiating match.
So is Post University going to do the same thing that we saw them last time, right? Which was just go out on the composition that they want on attack and use it on defense. It worked great for them before.
Ready for
It looks like at least that's what we're starting on. Chewy sticking with the Bastion here.
If we do this right, they won't even know what happened.
KingJackson actually going over to the Ana. So this looks like it might be kind of a standard choice for King, right? Moving, it looks like maybe Lucio on attack, Ana on the defense. Imagining they're going to be pretty close to Jojo. Okay, kind of opposite sides there.
Well, if I see any twigs, I will let you know.
Definitely very good positioning from the backline to start out here. Chewy
4, 3, 2,
playing pretty aggressively. As is May. This is a great opportunity right here. You know, if Moridin can isolate somebody like this Reinhardt, yeah, that's exactly what we're looking for. Classic move right there. But great awareness, honestly, from Scrammy, saying, I'm not going to freak out. I'm just going to move behind this statue and wait for the rest of my team to kind of catch up with me. Fire Strike goes in. Doesn't find much, but honestly, 20-some% on the board already for their ultimate. MultiKel's really going to have to be on the mark with their shield. Chewy putting in a lot of damage. Moridin goes low, has forced into their ice block, but they're going to be able to hold on as dueling ice blocks happen at this point. And Scrammy is actually, right now, building that shatter at an insane pace. So MultiKel really needs to be on it, really needs to be ready with their shield because Scrammy is doing work. Jojo goes down as well, so Post University on the back foot at this point. Big plays coming in from Sponge and Sleepy with that nade. So Post University going to be forced to give up the point here. Can MultiKel get out and kind of hold here as well? Doesn't look likely as Scrammy is just swinging that hammer with impunity. And in fact, oh, huge charge right there. So Post University is not going to get the Arches hold, right?
objective lost.
But that doesn't mean they're out of options. Chewy on the Pharah. This is interesting. I feel like we don't see Pharah a whole lot on King's Row, but if we think about it, okay, I was going to say the only person who could really harm them a lot is going to be Sleepy. Sponge can, but that drop-off, I think, with Cassidy is a little rough, especially if the Pharah is keeping their distance. But just Lemonade going back over to the Ash is a great play, but Moridin outsnipes the sniper. Ooh, that cast trying to find that flank, but a nice concussive blast coming out there. Big charge coming out from Scrammy. This is the hero I feel like Scrammy maybe should have been on for a while here. That's a massive sleep, though. And there's definitely a Mei behind them. Oh, what an ice block! Jojo does hit the ground, but they're gonna make it out. Huge plays from the remaining 3 members of Post University there. So, Trent, though, making pretty quick time through the streets as well. So, Nano coming up for Sleepy and Jackson. Post University with 2 more. They need to make sure that they use these economically, right? Only what they need to win this fight. So, question is, which ones are they going to use here? I would anticipate we see. Oh, it's gonna be Nano on the Pharah, and Lemonade gets pushed into a tough position where MultiKel takes advantage of it. Wall comes out to try and save as many people as they can. That's gonna be 2 down for Trent University Post has one down. Scrammy does not have that shatter, so they're going to have to be forced to back off. Big barrage coming in as well. Post University takes the fight. They're looking for that stagger. Oh yeah, they're gonna get that, Anna. And again, Post University did what they needed to do, which was win that fight and hold on to a couple of ultimates. Kitsune Rush, great initiation ultimate, so I imagine we're gonna see that, and then right off the back of that, we're gonna see our Blizzard coming out from Moridin. The Deadeye from Sponge could be problematic though. Especially if Chewy finds themselves kind of out in the open, so they're really going to want to make sure they stay safe. Just Lemonade just about has this Bob too, which could be big. Post University needs to use these ultimates soon here, so that they can kind of maintain that advantage, maintain that tempo. Ooh, Chewy going down low! Still low! Yeah. Trent really trying their best. Here comes the Blizzard. Sleepy goes down. Scrammy is frozen as well. They're going to fall too. 2 minutes, 10 seconds left on the clock. Post University really needed to bleed some time out of Trent here, and that's exactly what they've done. And the ult rotation is looking good for Post, but this next fight, certainly the advantage is going to be with Trent. They just about have the shatter. Sleepy actually has gone over to the Baptiste too. I like that pick. That's definitely going to make life a lot harder for Chewy. So now there's 3 players on Trent that can put pressure on Chewy, so Chewy's going to have to play very safe here. I'm not sure that their barrage is going to be capable of getting a lot, but Chewy says no to the Deadeye. Huge play, takes out 1 ultimate and 1 player. Gotta love it. Oh, but a fantastic shot coming out from Just Lemonade, though, to even the playing field just a little bit here. MultiKel getting pushed back. Oh, tries to get the shield up, but it's not quite enough. Big ante coming in, though. And Scrammy forced to back off all the way back to spawn. Jojo gets picked there at the last moment, but it's not going to matter because Post is held. Minute left for Post to try, or for Trent to try and make something happen here, and they're only looking at 1 ultimate, and that's on the back of UV. Now, with so many people with the potential to take Chewy out of the sky, it means that KingJackson might actually look for a Nano Barrage here. That could give just enough sustain for the damage to get through before the rest of the team can take him out, but MultiKel taking a lot of damage here. Moridin gets pulled in by a knife. There comes the Nano Barrage! They're going to find 2. It's going to be 1 traded, though. And as the dust settles, it's actually looking like a 2v2 here at the very end. So 14 seconds left to go here. Post University needs to try to hold on, but Sponge says no. KingJackson doing everything they can, but with a flashbang and a shot, Trent is going to keep things alive. And now we got the Scrammy Hammy. Yeah, looking for that high ground. Actually gets a little damage onto Chewy there with that slam. Curious to see if Scrammy sticks with that. Minute 15 left on the clock here. It's going to be difficult for Trent to finish with time. And if Trent does not finish with time, then the best they can do is tie this map. So, Post University in a fantastic, in a dominant position here right now. Immortality Field is gone, so Post University pushing in. That's a big window, though. Ooh, MultiKel throws up the shield to try and for Moridin, but Moridin says, no, I've got the natural cover, I've got the card. Big slam comes in. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but Scrammy going down pretty low here. 44 seconds left to go. Ooh, that cast pushing up pretty aggro. MultiKel calls them on that mispositioning. So now 30 seconds for Post to hold. And they are sitting on 4 ultimates. 4 very impactful ultimates, and Just Lemonade. Trent needs to get this Bob. If they can get this Bob out, they can keep their hopes alive. But with everything that Post University has at their disposal, it's going to be a very difficult job. Chewy finds 2 immediately. It's a 1-player advantage, though, for Post. Make it 2 again. Slam comes in from Scrammy. Is it going to do anything? We have the coalescence from UV. There comes the Blizzard. And with that and a big wall, I don't know if anybody's going to be able to touch. They try and they do not. Post University takes it 3-0.
Play of the game.
Chewy taking the play this time. It's got to be the Nano Barrage, right? It's got to be the Nano Barrage. Yep, it's the Nano Barrage. This is Streets. This is this flank. Boom. Absolutely massive. And there was a nade in there as well. I did not catch that that anti-nade the first time through. So what a phenomenal game for Post University. Great work, Trent, as well. Loved seeing y'all play. But Post University continues their dominance here in the NECC Division 7A? 7A? I believe that's what it is. Regardless, congratulations to everybody. Loved getting to see King in subbing in tonight as well. And can't wait to see what the rest of the season brings for Post University, as they are just on an absolute tear. So congratulations to everybody who played tonight, especially Post University for pulling out another win. They moved to 6-0. 6-0. So thank you all so much for tuning in. It's a pleasure to be on the mic once again. Warren JuggleGod Hammond here. Please follow Post University on all their socials. You can follow me as well. I pretty much am on Blue Sky these days. That's about it. So thank you all so much. GG's, and see you next time.